For 3 years, Lenora had been with Dyron. The first 2 years were calm, even sweet. But the third? A battlefield of accusations and paranoia. Dyron started checking Lenora's phone, snooping through her messages, asking about every number, every contact. If she got home late, even by 10 minutes, he'd demand to know who she was really with. He grew jealous over her male colleagues, even when they only messaged about project deadlines. Sometimes in front of friends he would laugh and say things like, "Hope you didn't flirt your way to that promotion." When Lenora protested, he would roll his eyes and say, "Guilty people always get defensive." She never cheated. Not once. But he treated her like the villain while hiding something darker of his own. It wasn't Lenora who uncovered the truth. It was her best friend, Théo, someone she'd known since high school. Like a sister. One evening, after another fight with Dyron over something trivial, Lenora invited Théo over. She showed her the texts, Dyron accusing her of coming home late from grocery shopping. "He said I was probably meeting a man," Lenora sighed. Théo's face hardened. She pulled out her phone and showed Lenora something that made her stomach twist. There, on a dating app, was Dyron's profile, active just that day. The bio read, "*single looking for fun." Théo explained she'd suspected it for weeks. A friend of hers had matched with him and recognized him from Lenora's Instagram. Théo didn't jump to conclusions. She wanted proof, solid evidence. So she created a fake profile and swiped until she found him. It didn't take long. Within hours, Dyron matched with her and started chatting like he was completely unattached. "My psycho ex won't take the hint," he wrote. "Still stuck with her, 'cause she pays rent and cooks." Théo and Lenora read his vile words together in silence. Lenora's hands trembled. "He said that about me?" she whispered. The messages grew worse, screenshots of his flirty chats with other women, mocking Lenora's looks, calling her names no one deserved to be called. He was charming them while humiliating her. "He said he almost gags when I kiss him?" Lenora asked, staring at the screen. Théo nodded, eyes full of fury. "And that one even called you a saint for staying with me." Lenora laughed bitterly. "Wow. All this while I'm scrubbing his clothes and cooking his meals." She felt something cold harden in her chest. "I'm not going to yell or cry," she muttered. "Not yet. We need more than evidence." Théo leaned forward. "Then let's destroy him. Not just confront him, ruin him." Lenora didn't answer right away. Her face was unreadable. Then slowly she nodded. "Let's give him a taste of hell." And so, the planning began. Lenora stayed calm on the outside, smiling, kissing Dyron goodbye each morning, making his favorite dishes. But inside she was sharpening every blade of revenge. Meanwhile, Théo kept the fake profile going. Every evening they'd gather, Lenora, Théo, and eventually Lenora's cousin Alika. Alika was tall, stunning, and bore a slight resemblance to Lenora, enough to bait Dyron without raising alarms. When Lenora told her everything, Alika's expression turned to stone. "This is emotional abuse," she said. "Let's burn him from the inside out." That night, over wine and whispered strategies, a pact was formed. Lenora would play the loving girlfriend, while Alika became Dyron's dream woman, and his most expensive mistake. They called it Operation Payback. Lenora took charge of the emotional front while Alika handled the bait. Dyron went to the same gym every Tuesday and Thursday like clockwork. "He probably thinks those workout selfies make him irresistible," Théo smirked. Using a guest pass, Alika slipped into his gym one Thursday, dressed to catch attention. She texted Lenora, "Target acquired. He can't stop staring." As expected, Dyron accidentally bumped into her near the bench press. "Hey, you new here?" he asked, smiling. "Just visiting," Alika replied. That same night, Dyron messaged the fake profile again, unaware that he'd just hit on his girlfriend's cousin. By that evening, Alika was already receiving texts from him. "Nice meeting you today," he wrote. "Hope you like protein shakes." Lenora sat beside her cousin, reading every word. Her stomach twisted, but she said nothing. Théo brought wine and sat cross-legged on the couch. "We're in it now," she said. The next day, Alika responded sweetly, and the flirting escalated. Dyron complimented her body, asked if she was single, and suggested a date. The best part? He didn't even notice that Alika looked like Lenora. "He never paid attention to me anyway," Lenora muttered. Why would he notice? Their plan was beautifully simple. Alika would reel Dyron in, make him fall, and bleed his wallet dry. Lenora meanwhile kept up her role, doing laundry, cooking, even apologizing when he accused her of winking at the delivery guy. 3 days after the gym meeting, Alika and Dyron had their first date. He claimed it was a work event. Lenora smiled, kissed him goodbye, and the moment the door shut, she and Teo raced to Alika's apartment, where they tracked every move. Dyron took Alika to an upscale restaurant Lenora had begged to visit on their anniversary. "Must be nice," she whispered as she sipped her wine, watching it all unfold from a distance. That night, Alika texted live updates. He ordered a $200 bottle of wine. "He keeps saying he's practically single. He just called me a goddess." Lenora blinked at the messages. "He's never spent more than $30 on dinner with me." Teo passed her a piece of chocolate cake. "That's okay. He's about to fund your glow-up." Over the next few weeks, Dyron became addicted to Alika. He started canceling on Lenora, staying out later, always with that smug grin like he had a secret. And he did, a secret they knew better than him. Every gift, every date, every lie, documented. The spending started small. Dinners, movie tickets, gym merch. But Alika played her role masterfully. One day while window shopping she casually said, "I love those earrings." Days later they were hers, $500 studs she handed to Lenora in a small velvet pouch. "Wear them on your next date with him," she winked. Then came the designer bag, a luxury watch, even a fancy coffee machine. Everything purchased with the same money Dyron once claimed he was saving for their future. Lenora began to smile again just a little. "This isn't revenge," she joked to Teo. "It's delayed compensation." The weekends were the best part. Alika would get Dyron to book resorts and trips, then conveniently claim she couldn't cover her half. Dyron, desperate to impress her, paid in full. But Alika always brought the cash back to Lenora. "Here's your share of our weekend at the spa," she'd grin. Sometimes they used the money for pampering. Other times they stashed it in their revenge fund, a box under Teo's bed filled with cash and receipts. One weekend, Dyron said he had a business conference out of town. In reality he was taking Alika to a beach resort. Lenora? She used his money for a spa day with Teo. "Cheers," she said, raising her mimosa. To his stupidity. Dyron's lies grew more ridiculous. Work trips, emergencies, even once faking that his mother was sick, only for his mom to call Lenora the same night inviting them to dinner. Lenora smiled sweetly and lied back. "He's feeling ill, might just stay in." Playing the perfect girlfriend was exhausting. She made dinner. She folded his shirts. She smiled through kisses she wanted to dodge. But the game was working. Alika, meanwhile, recorded everything, voice notes, screenshots, even video clips of Dyron confessing how much he hated his clingy girlfriend. Lenora listened to it all. "He doesn't know I'm the fire he's dancing around," she said coldly. In one recording Dyron laughed and said, "She's like a Roomba that pays rent. Why break up?" Lenora smashed a glass when she heard that. Teo rushed in, barefoot, helping her sweep the shards before Dyron returned. "It's fine," Lenora breathed. "It's fuel." They were winning, and winning big. Alika had gotten Dyron to buy her a new iPhone, which she handed straight to Lenora. "Yours had a cracked screen," she said. She also gifted her cousin designer shoes, her exact size. "This man is dressing me better now than he ever did when I was with him," Lenora laughed bitterly. There was even a yoga retreat Alika claimed she'd signed up for, then handed the ticket to Lenora. "Enjoy," she said, handing her the fake itinerary. Lenora and Teo spent that weekend meditating and laughing. "Imagine if he finds out he's funding your piece," Teo whispered. But it wasn't just about gifts or trips anymore. Alika began laying the foundation for the final blow. She talked to Dyron about dreams, tropical vacations, luxury resorts, long walks on exotic beaches. He fell for it. One night, while watching Netflix, Dyron casually said to Lenora, "Ever thought of going to Bora Bora?" She didn't blink. "Sounds nice." Alika made her move a week later. On one of their fake dates, she burst into crocodile tears about never having gone on a real vacation. "I've always wanted to see the ocean," she sobbed. Dyron, desperate to be her hero, promised they'd go somewhere breathtaking. That same week, Lenora found something that made her heart stop. Bank transfers from their shared account into Dyron's personal one. He was stealing their joint money to fund his fantasy. "He's not just cheating," she said to Teo. "He's robbing me to impress my own blood." Teo didn't speak. She just placed a hand on Lenora's shoulder and whispered, "Let's end him." The deeper Lenora looked, the more betrayal she uncovered. Dyron had been moving money little by little, enough to avoid suspicion but enough to hurt. Money meant for bills and future plans now sat in his private savings, funding dates, gifts and hotels for Alika. Meanwhile at home he kept pretending to be broke. "Tough month," he'd say. "Work's been slow." One night, Lenora watched him enter the bedroom with a suitcase of new clothes. "For a business trip," he explained. But Lenora had already seen the resort booking in his inbox. A romantic getaway for two. He just didn't know Lenora and Teo would be the ones checking in. The night before the trip, Alika called Dyron crying. "My grandmother's in the hospital. I can't leave town." Dyron panicked. "But the trip's non-refundable." Alika sniffled. "Go anyway. You've earned it." That same night, Dyron lied to Lenora. "Going fishing with the guys. We need the weekend." Lenora smiled sweetly and waved him off. The moment he left for work the next morning, she and Teo packed their bags. Using the reservation details Alika had stolen, they checked into the luxury resort under Dyron's name. The front desk didn't question a thing. For 3 days they lived in paradise, on his dime. From hot stone massages to sunset dinners by the water, Lenora soaked in every second of revenge-funded bliss. They even charged room service to his card. Lobster, champagne, chocolate-covered fruit trays. Meanwhile, Dyron was texting Alika, "Missing you but I'm trying to make the best of it." Lenora laughed, sipping wine in a bubble bath. "He thinks he's tricking both of us," she said. Teo shook her head. "We've already won." They took photos, plenty of them, but kept them hidden. "Not yet. Those pictures would be part of the finale." "Let him lie a little longer," Lenora whispered. "He's not done paying." When Lenora got home, Dyron was already on the couch watching football. "You smell like fish," she teased, barely able to contain herself. "Caught a big one?" Dyron chuckled and launched into some ridiculous story about hauling in a giant snapper. She nodded along, biting her tongue, replaying her own weekend of luxury in her mind. Then came her birthday. Dyron forgot, completely. No flowers, no cake, not even a dinner. But Alika remembered. "I have something for you," she grinned and handed Lenora a designer purse. Dyron bought it. "Said it was for my best friend's birthday. I figured it was yours." Lenora carried that purse proudly. Even took it on her next date with Dyron. "Wow," he said. "That looks expensive." Lenora smiled. "Teo gave it to me. Technically that wasn't a lie. But it was delicious." Meanwhile, Dyron started complaining about money. "Work expenses are piling up," he muttered one evening. "We might need to cut back." The man who had just funded a weekend escape and bought a $1,000 bag now wanted to tighten the belt. The irony wasn't lost on Lenora. "Of course," she said, voice sweet as honey. "We'll figure it out together." She almost choked on the words. Behind the scenes, Alika kept the game alive. She dodged invitations to meet Dyron's friends, kept him yearning and spending. He didn't suspect a thing. His confidence was blinding. "She's falling for me," he bragged to Lenora one night, not even realizing the insult. "She's different." Lenora smiled. "She must be." But the grand finale was coming. Alika had begun suggesting one final fantasy. A luxury vacation to a tropical island. Private bungalows. Glass floors above the sea. A place Lenora had once begged to visit. "Let's go somewhere unforgettable," Alika whispered to Dyron. And he, the fool, took the bait. Dyron scrambled to afford the fantasy. He began selling things. His vintage guitar collection, limited edition sneakers, even a camera he once claimed was priceless. "Just temporary," he told Lenora. "We'll bounce back." But Lenora already knew what he was funding. She watched as his ego emptied his bank account, one reservation at a time. When she caught him calculating costs for the trip, she leaned over sweetly and kissed his cheek. "You deserve a break," she said. Inside she was laughing. He thought he was in control, thought the puppet strings belonged to him. But every move was theirs. By the 4th month, Dyron was crumbling. His lies got sloppy. He forgot to text Lenora when he'd be out late. Left lipstick-stained napkins in his pockets. Once, while half asleep, he even mumbled Alika's name. Lenora stared at him in the dark, her jaw clenched. "Almost there," she whispered to herself. Their revenge fund had passed $4,000. Spa vouchers, gift cards, jewelry, all under Lenora's bed. "He's funding your new life," Teo joked one day. "What should we call the next phase?" Lenora smiled coldly. "Destruction," she replied. "Now he's going to beg, on his knees." Then came the biggest insult. One evening, Dyron asked Lenora to sit down. "Babe," he said, "I'm in a tight spot financially." He rubbed his forehead and sighed like the weight of the world was on him. Could you cover next month's rent? And maybe utilities? Just for now. Lenora blinked. Of course, she said. I understand. But the moment he left the room, she grabbed her phone. It's time, she texted. Alika responded instantly, let's raise the stakes. The next morning she called Dyron in tears. My car broke down. $600 repair. He wired the money within hours. That same evening, Alika was shopping with Teo and Lenora, sipping smoothies, laughing in the mall while her perfectly fine car sat parked at Lenora's apartment. He sent me the cash like I'm his daughter, Alika joked. But the real gift was the Bora Bora booking. Dyron had gone through with it, flights, resort, everything. He was broke. He was desperate. But he still thought Alika was his dream girl. Lenora saw the confirmation email and smiled. Good, she whispered. That's the trip where everything ends. The trap was set. The finale was near. And Dyron? He still had no idea. Dyron started pawning his prized possessions. His favorite guitar was the first to go. Then his beloved wristwatch, a gift from his late uncle. Lenora watched him spiral with a poker face. Everything all right? She'd ask sweetly when he looked anxious. Yeah, just thinking about investments, he'd lie. What he didn't know was that every sacrifice he made for Alika was actually a sacrifice for Lenora's entertainment. He even skipped lunch at work to save cash, while Alika, Teo, and Lenora enjoyed sushi platters and spa days on the same money. He's starving for our satisfaction, Teo laughed. The final trip was 2 weeks away. Alika upped the affection, blowing kisses, calling Dyron her forever. He fell harder and faster. Meanwhile, Lenora was laying the groundwork for the blow. She began backing up everything: screenshots, audio clips, receipts, and bank transfers. A folder titled For Dyron began to grow. We're not just going to break his heart, she told Teo. We're going to break his illusion of control. They planned the reveal like a movie, calm, cruel, and unforgettable. What about the trip? Alika asked. Lenora smirked. He'll still go. He just won't be the one soaking in the view. 1 week before the trip, Lenora faked a meltdown. I feel like you're pulling away, she sobbed in front of Dyron. He looked uncomfortable, even annoyed. You're imagining things, he said. I'm just stressed. She apologized, clinging to him, pretending to be desperate. Inside she was counting down the days. That same evening, Alika faked a surprise. I've arranged for us to leave early. Just you and me, 2 nights before the actual check-in. Dyron panicked. But I told Lenora I'd be home this weekend, Alika pouted. I just want us alone. He caved in minutes later. The night before departure, Lenora watched Dyron pack his suitcase. You taking your nice shirts for the fishing trip? She asked, pointing at the tropical prints. Yeah, he muttered. I might hit the beach with the guys. He kissed her on the forehead, told her not to wait up. As soon as the door closed, Lenora's smile vanished. He's on his way, she texted. Alika was already at the resort, checked in under a fake name, room key ready, champagne chilling. But she wasn't alone. Lenora and Teo were with her, waiting. The moment of truth was near. Dyron arrived, grinning from ear to ear. The resort glowed under the tropical sun. He texted Alika, *here. Can't wait to see you. No reply. He checked in and was told his partner had already arrived. He rushed to the suite, excited. When he opened the door, he found Lenora sitting on the couch, champagne flute in hand. Teo stood by the window, arms crossed. And Alika? She was lounging on the bed, scrolling through her phone like it was any normal day. Dyron froze. What is this? He croaked. Lenora smiled. Surprise, darling. We booked this one just for you. He blinked, speechless. How did you? Lenora cut him off. Sit. Or don't. Makes no difference. She pulled out a sleek black folder and laid it on the table. This is for you. Dyron opened it and saw everything. Screenshots. Bank statements. Audio clips of his filthiest lies. Photos of Lenora at every resort he thought he visited alone. A picture of her holding the bag he'd bought Alika. Receipts signed with his name. We knew, Teo said flatly. We knew everything. Dyron's hands began to shake. This is illegal, he shouted. Alika laughed. No, it's just karma, babe. He stood up, eyes darting toward the door. You tricked me, he barked. Lenora calmly took another sip of her champagne. No, Dyron. You tricked yourself. Teo stepped forward. You could have just broken up with her. But you wanted your cake, her wallet, and every other woman in town too. Dyron's voice cracked. So this whole time, All the affection, the sex, all fake, Alika said with a wink. You're not even that good. Lenora picked up her purse. This suite is booked for one more night. Enjoy it. After that, you'll be checking into reality, broke and alone. Dyron slumped into the couch, stunned. But I loved you, he said weakly. Lenora raised an eyebrow. No, you loved using me. She walked to the door, paused and turned. And by the way, your mom wasn't sick. She called asking why we missed dinner. Remember? Then she left, heels clicking against the marble floor. Alika followed with a spin. Thanks for the iPhone. Teo lingered last. Next time you meet a strong woman, don't try to break her. You might just fund her glow up. And with that, the door closed behind them, leaving Dyron alone in the cold suite. Back at home, Lenora didn't cry. She didn't scream. She simply started over. She closed the joint bank account, paid off her share of the rent one final time, and blocked Dyron on every platform. She donated the gifts she didn't want and sold the ones she did. The revenge fund covered her moving costs and a fresh wardrobe. Alika helped her redecorate her new space. Teo made playlists of empowering songs. And together, they toasted with cheap wine to a brilliant, glittering ending. We didn't destroy him, Lenora said. He did that all on his own. We just collected the pieces. A week later, Dyron messaged her from a new number. A pathetic text, asterisk, I miss you. Can we talk? Asterisk. Lenora didn't reply. She simply screenshotted the message, sent it to Teo and Alika with one word, blocked. Then she turned off her phone, took a deep breath and walked into her new job interview, confident, calm and free. The sun shone a little brighter that day. She wore the earrings Alika had finessed out of him. And when the receptionist complimented her purse, Lenora smiled. Funny story, she said. But she never told it. Some victories are best savored in silence. Months passed. Lenora had found peace in her new rhythm. The scars Dyron left behind were still there, but they no longer stung, they strengthened her. She'd started journaling again, something she gave up during those chaotic years. Each page was filled with gratitude, rage released and lessons documented. One afternoon, while sipping coffee at a quiet cafe, she saw Dyron walk past the window. He looked thinner, tired, like someone who hadn't slept in weeks. Their eyes didn't meet. He was too deep in his phone, probably still chasing someone else's attention. Lenora looked away. He wasn't worth a second glance. Teo got a new job out of state, but she and Lenora stayed close. Every week they had Thursday night check-ins. Just to laugh, vent, and stay grounded. Alika had started seeing someone new, a quiet artist who loved her mind more than her looks. It's nice to be wanted for who I am, she once told Lenora over smoothies. Not just what I look like. Lenora smiled. Welcome to peace. Their bond, forged in the fire of betrayal, had become unbreakable. What started as revenge had turned into sisterhood, healing, and something far more powerful, self-respect. One evening, Lenora received an anonymous email. No message, just a scanned photo of her and Dyron, from one of their first dates, smiling, unaware of the storm to come. She stared at it for a long time. For a moment, she almost felt sorry for the girl in the picture. But then she remembered, that girl had survived. Grown. Outplayed a master manipulator. She dragged the photo to her trash folder, clicked delete forever, and closed her laptop. Some chapters deserved to end without a reread. She didn't need memories of who she used to be. That weekend, Lenora spoke at a local women's event. The theme was choosing yourself. She didn't share the full story, only the parts that mattered. Sometimes, she told the room, we lose ourselves trying to keep people who were never meant to stay. But you can survive heartbreak. You can survive betrayal. And when you do, you don't just get your life back. You get to rewrite it better. The audience applauded, some even teared up. Afterward, a young woman approached her. You spoke like you've been through fire. Lenora smiled. I have, she said, but I didn't burn. On a warm Sunday morning, Lenora stood at her balcony, coffee in hand, city humming quietly beneath her. She thought of the journey, the pain, the lies, the clever takedown. But most of all, she thought of who she had become. No longer the girl begging for love. No longer the woman trying to fix a broken man. She was whole. The kind of woman who walked away with her dignity intact. Not because she didn't care, but because she finally cared enough about herself. And somewhere out there, Dyron was probably still lying to someone new. But that wasn't her story anymore. Hers was finished. And it ended with freedom. Every story carries a lesson. If this one moved you, tap subscribe, so you never miss the next twist in the journey.